Hi. When we left off reading Ghost, we were in the middle of chapter 6. Ghost is on his first long run, which he didn't know what that meant. But Coach is chasing him in a cab, honking to motivate him while he starts to wear his new shoes for the first time for a run. So he's remembering a time when he was getting chased by a dog and second fastest he's ever run. Anyway, I won't lie. I never caught up to anybody else, even with Coach, pretty much yelling at me through that stupid megaphone the whole time. He was leaning on the horn like a crazy person, everybody on the street looking at me, some totally confused and some actually cheering me on. I didn't even come close to finishing with everyone else, but I didn't quit. I never stopped running. As everybody except Sonny lay down on the track trying to catch their breath, Coach had his cocky grin on his face as he came out of his car like he knew who he'd worked to death. "Coach Witt, who shined today?" he said, jingling his keys. Coach Witt stood with her hands on her head, her face and the parts between her braids glistening with sweat. "I got to give it to Sonny, Coach. The kid stuck with me the whole time." Sonny lit up. He wasn't even tired. Like running 800 miles or whatever many miles we ran was no big deal to him. And I'm sure almost everybody else felt like, I felt like we had become slime. "Good job, Sonny," Coach said, giving him a high five. "I told you vets to look out for him, didn't I?" Mikey and Aaron and Britt, Brad, and JJ and pretty much all the vets groaned. But I could tell they were impressed by lanky-legged Sonny. Patty jumped up and gave him a high five as well. "Yo, you like an alien," she said. "Yeah, man, you got legs." Lou followed. Then he turned around to me. "You too, Ghost. Them new shoes ain't giving you no new speed, but you ain't quit, so yeah." "Yeah," I said, "you too." I don't know why I said you too. It's just like a reflex. I didn't even really make sense in this case, but that's what came out. Okay, Coach said. "Y'all can hug, and then tomorrow we'll do the newbie dinner." "What's that?" Patty asked. "It's a tradition. Every year I take the newbies out for Chinese food on the first Friday of the season. It's like a bonding thing," Coach explained. Then looking from me to Lou to Patty to Sonny, one by one, he asked, "What if y'all don't like Chinese food?" Of course, we quickly answered no. Chinese is good. "Definitely. Sounds good to me. I'm cool with it." Coach, with the key ring now on his middle finger, spun the keys like cowboys do with their guns in old movies that Mr. Charles was always watching. "Okay, then," Coach said. "Now give me 2 cool-down laps and get off my track." At home, me and Ma had my favorite for dinner, Salisbury steak. Every time she brought it home, all I could think of was how lucky the people in the hospital were that they could get that for dinner. Salisbury steak is amazing. I don't know what exactly Salisbury is, but whatever it is delicious. "So, you liking track?" Ma asked, heating the food up. "Yeah, it's cool. It's crazy hard, but it's cool." "And what about the coach?" she asked. "How's he?" "I like him," I said, plain, unsure of what she was getting at. Like I said, moms never trust people around their kids. Never, ever. Coach had just left asking my mom if I could go to the newbie dinner, and she said I could, but the smell of Salisbury might have changed her mind just that quick. I don't know why it would have, but who understands moms? "You know what?" she said, popping open the microwave when it dinged. She flashed a smile at me. "I like him too." Whew. The homework Ma was avoiding tonight was all about how to draw blood. They call it phlebotomy. And the movie was The Night of Love Jones, which we've seen a bazillion times, but my mom loves it. It's about this photographer lady and this dude who writes poems, and they like each other, then they hate each other, then they love each other, and then it's over. Or something like that. I never really pay much attention. I just flip through my world record book and spout out different facts. There's this dude named Tommy something. I couldn't pronounce his last name. He holds the world record for putting the most nails on a piece of wood with his teeth. My mother, sitting with the nursing textbook open on her lap, just shushed me and kept on watching. "And then there's this other guy," I continued, even though I knew she didn't want to hear it. "Most of the time, I just like to mess with her. His name is Wim Hof. What a name, right? Yikes, Wim Hof. Anyway, he got the record for the most amount of time spent in ice." "In ice?" my mom asked. Must have caught her from a boring part in the movie. "Yep, in it. 1 hour and 53 minutes. "People crazy," she said, shaking her head. Then she held her hand out in front of me to let me know the boring part of the movie was now over. It was time for her to resume fanning the tears back every 5 minutes. Blah, blah, blah. "Hey, you ever heard of Usain Bolt?" I asked her. "He holds the record for being the fastest man." "Cass, come on now," she begged. "They're getting ready to fall in love again. You know this is my favorite part." I just shook my head and kept on flipping. The good thing was she didn't ask me about my new fancy shoes, but that's just because she didn't know about them. I changed them in Coach's cab on the way home from practice. Coach, on the other hand, definitely asked about them. "Where'd you get 'em? That's all I want to know," Coach said. This came after he told me he was proud of me for not quitting today. I told him I had no idea why he loved to torture children so much. "Do you grill all the kids on the team like this, or just me?" I replied, snappy. "Just you." He slapped my arm. I told him that my mother had gotten them for me, as a way to encourage me to do the right thing and stay out of trouble. Just saying it turned my stomach. Because here I was, a boy who was suspended for busting somebody in the face at school one day and skipped half the day the next day because I was laughed at. Then I swiped shoes. Clearly wasn't staying out of trouble. Matter of fact, I was knee-deep in it. "Oh, okay," Coach said, but I could tell he didn't believe me. I wouldn't have. He could probably see it on my face, especially since, just like him, I didn't have no hair on it to disguise it either. And honestly, yes, honestly, I couldn't even believe what I had just lied like that. It wasn't even like the lying type normally. But I also wasn't the stealing type until a few hours ago earlier. Altercations, altercations, altercations. Chapter 7. World record for the best Friday ever after the worst Wednesday and Thursday. Friday means two things. The first is that it's the last day before I can take 2 days off of school. I like to think of it as a non-altercation suspension. Plus, the weekend was when me and Ma actually did stuff, and not just watch movies and avoid homework, because she didn't have work on weekends and took early morning online nursing classes to get them out of the way. And when she was done, we would clean the house. I was in charge of the living room. Ma would give me her version of a haircut. She always got most of it even. And then give herself one. And then we would go to my Aunt Sophie's house. Aunt Sophie is my mom's younger sister, and she's like the coolest lady ever. She has a tattoo on her arm that says Sweetie Pie that I never asked about, but always stare at just because I can't wait to get one. But mine ain't going to say nothing like that. Mine is going to say World's Greatest, or, of course, Ghost. Anyway, on weekends, Aunt Sophie and my mom sit around and play cards and crack jokes and eat corn chips with cheese dip and drink beer, and sometimes they let me and King, Aunt Sophie's son, sit with them and play. Yes, we can play. Me and King learned how to play spades and tonk when we were real young. It's a thing in our family, a serious thing. And yes, his real name is King. I think the sisters just want to give us royal names. So yeah, all I had to do was get through Friday without any problems, and I was good to go for the weekend. The other thing about Friday, which I didn't know until Thursday, is that Coach gives everybody off. No practice. And then, of course, since this was the first Friday of the season, Coach was taking the newbies out to dinner. After 2.5 days of school, which technically equals 1 full day, I'm happy to say that school went pretty smooth on Friday. Brandon Simmons was back, and even though I had on my regular dusty butt shoes, the fancy ones were for track only, Brandon didn't have too much to say to me. I saw him just before first period, and he walked right past me and Dre. I saw some of the other kids snickering at him as he passed, but I told them all to chill. I don't know why, because he totally deserves to be roasted, but I guess I kind of felt bad for the dude. I'd been there. And we're going to stop there.